Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, it's good to see you. Welcome into the LA School of International Affairs on the fifth floor, room 505. We're glad you're here. I am Associate Professor Eric Schlissel. I have the tremendous honor of being the director of the Seeger Center for Asian Studies, which is not only the DC area's oldest, largest, and most active center for Asian studies, but by those same metrics is one of America's top 10. We are very proud to be a center that is diverse and interdisciplinary, that brings together a big tent of Asia specialists all across our university and all across our region and very frequently across the world as we are today for one of our signature Taiwan events. Taiwan is a very, very special place here at the Seeger Center, thanks to funding from many of our friends, but also because we're very proud that a town where the fleeting concerns of US policy often define the conversation for long term. We get to be a space where we center academic voices, new research, and especially the perspectives of people who come from Taiwan, from the Taiwanese diaspora. So that's one of the things we're doing today. One other small brief announcement for our regulars. As of January 5th, I'll be stepping down as director of the Seeger Center after 1.5 glorious years. We'll be replaced by Professor Bruce Dixon, who will be stepping into the directorship from the Department of Political Science. So in future, for all center-related concerns, please see Bruce. Now, without any further ado, I will hand the mic over to a proper Taiwan expert, my assistant director, Richard Haddock.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for making it out to talk with us today about an important and kind of a moving target of an issue, navigating Taiwan's AI future, policy, innovation, and governance. I'd like to also thank our co-sponsors today. We here at the Seeger Center have teamed up with the Institute for International Science and Technology Policy here at the Elliott School, as well as the Digital Trade and Data Governance Hub, the director of which is sitting here with us here today to join our discussion. So my name is Richard Haddock. I'm Assistant Director for Seeger Center and Co-Director for the Taiwan Education and Research Program here at GW. At the Seeger Center, we aspire to generate and facilitate scholarly exchange and research-informed policy discussions on Taiwan that are holistic and grounded in interdisciplinary area studies expertise. We hope to bring specialists in Taiwan affairs to GW for public seminars and presentations to encourage these cross-disciplinary discussions on Taiwan issues and invite DC area scholars and practitioners to learn about domestic discourse in Taiwan, such as our events today. We really do aspire to be a hub for critical, intersectional, and holistic discourse on Taiwan. And it's also the last roundtable of the calendar year in 2025. We will be back with another slate of great and ambitious programming in next year, as soon as in January with our slate of Taiwan events. So please stay tuned for all that we have in store for the next year. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank our incredible team of staff members who help put events like this together and make these possible, including Adam Bubinich, Lisa Lackney, Bobby Kincaid. We also have our student workers here as well with Amelia and with Ben as well. Thank you again so much for all of your help. So for today's topic, Taiwan is positioning itself as a global hub for artificial intelligence, with ambitious government policies, pressing challenges, and promising opportunities shaping its trajectory. We hope to engage in energetic discussion today with a panel of experts and practitioners to unpack these topics. In October of this year, President Lai has declared his vision of transforming Taiwan into an AI island, pledging over $3 billion US dollars to accelerate AI adoption across industries and government. This initiative includes 10 major AI infrastructure projects, ranging from expanding national computing power and cloud services to strengthening data governance and cybersecurity. On November 20th of this year, President Lai also attended a launch ceremony for Google's AI Infrastructure Engineering Center in Taiwan, where he affirmed that the center's launch carries great significance for deepening cooperation between Taiwan and the United States, cultivating AI talent, and bolstering supply chain resilience. President Lai also stated that Taiwan's long-term AI goals include to creating 500,000 AI jobs and establish 3 international-level AI laboratories by 2040. The Ministry of Digital Affairs has also been an active institutional player on this front. In early November, Minister of Digital Affairs Li Nijing stated that the ministry supports the development of Taiwan's artificial intelligence industry through 5 major policy tools: computing power, data, talent, marketing, and funding to build a robust national AI ecosystem. Minister Lin also stressed that technological innovation must come from free and fair competition among private enterprises, stressing that AI development is not a government-led initiative alone, but one that will involve many sectors. This is part of a broader effort Taiwan's government initiated last year to bolster Taiwan's sovereign AI program, which underscores Taiwan's determination to build a resilient, homegrown AI ecosystem that leverages its semiconductor leadership while safeguarding democratic values. Significant challenges, though, lie ahead, not just for Taiwan, but for AI development worldwide. One such issue that is felt acutely in Taiwan is the energy demands of AI development. Training large models and operating advanced data centers requires immense power. Training Taiwan's already vulnerable energy system. With limited domestic energy resources and reliance on imports, Taiwan faces risks to its energy resilience, particularly as it phases out nuclear power and grapples with balancing renewable expansion against grid stability. But at the same time, many opportunities are in store for Taiwan's AI development, such as the role of its world-leading semiconductor industry. And another issue that's particularly close to my research interests, democratic innovation, particularly Taiwan's vibrant and active civic technology communities, which can contribute immensely to the development of human-centric, open-source, and rights-conscious AI systems. Hopefully, by aligning policy, infrastructure, and industry strengths, Taiwan is poised to become not just an AI island, but a model for democratic innovation in the Asia-Pacific. And joining me is a panel of experts and practitioners, again, to unpack these issues more closely. Each of our speakers here today will give a 10 to 12-minute presentation. After everyone is finished speaking, we will engage all of you here with us today in a vibrant Q&A session. So allow me to first introduce the speakers, and we'll go on from there. So first speaking, we have Mr. Wang Zhengming, currently serving as the Director General of the Department of Digital Government under the Ministry of Digital Affairs. Prior to joining MODA, he held positions across various public and private sector institutions, including the National Development Council, the Research, Development, and Evaluation Commission under the Executive Yuan, the Ministry of Finance, and the Taiwan Business Bank. Mr. Wang holds a master's degree in computer science from Yunzi University and a master's degree in public administration and management from the National University of Singapore. His expertise spans information management, algorithms, cybersecurity, project management, and public administration. Throughout his career, he has overseen Taiwan's 4th and 5th phases of e-government service implementation, as well as the review of central government ICT programs. After him, we will be joined by Dr. Xinzheng Liao, professor in the Department of Public Administration at National Juncture University in Taiwan. He received his PhD in Urban Studies and Public Affairs from Cleveland State University and is currently a research fellow at the Digital Governance Research Center at National Juncture University, as well as the Vice Executive Director of the Transparency International Taiwan chapter. His main research areas include geographic information systems applications, spatial analysis, integrity governance, and digital governance. Dr. Liao has served as a member of the Central Integrity Committee of the Executive Yuan, a review committee member for the Transparency Crystal Award, and as a research and evaluation committee member for the Taipei City Government. And we will also be joined by Dr. Susan Aronson, who's research professor of international affairs right here at the George Washington University. Susan is also a co-principal investigator with the National Science Foundation and the National Institute of Standards and Technology Institute for Trustworthy AI in Law and Society, or TRAILS, where she leads research on data and AI governance. Susan is also named as one of GW's Public Interest Technology Scholars, where she works to encourage interdisciplinary research on technology in the public interest. Susan is also director of the Digital Trade and Data Governance Hub here at GW. The hub was founded in 2019 and educates policymakers, the press, and the public about data governance and data-driven change. It's the only organization in the world that maps the governance of public, proprietary, and personal data at the domestic and international levels. Susan's currently directing projects on responsible AI, national security, and the free flow of data and participatory AI. So I know we are going to have a very well-informed and vibrant discussion with our panelists today. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us. And we will start with Mr. Wang. So if you would please come.
Okay, thank you. It's great to have this opportunity to introduce the AI development in Taiwan. Actually, just as Richard said, that President Lai invested a lot of budgets in this AI area. But it's because our AI development is not very good right now in Taiwan. So I will introduce some mechanisms we will use to improve our AI services. This is the global AI ranking. So you can see Taiwan ranked 21st in the world among these 87 countries. But if you look closely, you will see that in this indicator, the operating environment, we rank number 71st among those 83 countries. And it's not very good. And this indicator focuses on the regulatory context and the public opinion. It means our regulatory environment is not very good, and also our people not very familiar with AI services. And also we have conducted some survey by ourselves, first among the general public. So you can see that almost only 44.3% of people have ever used AI, and about 41.4% they heard but never used it, and even 14% of people they never heard of AI. So among those have ever used AI, about 39% of people they only use one kind of the AI tool, for example, the ChatGPT or the Gemini. So this is not very good actually. And for our first line civil servants, you can see this survey is conducted by last year. About 47% of the frontline civil servants they have ever heard but never used of AI. And this also not very good. But this year maybe the percentage will become better. But I think still our first line civil servants not very good at using. And also for the industry, about 61% of the industry, they have AI talent shortage. And almost every year, the 3.4 thousand to 4.2 thousand of AI positions, lack of the AI talents. So from these surveys, we have many things to do. First, to teach and to make an incentive for people to use the AI. For government, actually we have a systematic AI trainings, and I will talk about it later. And for industry, we encourage the company to teach or to train their employee, and also have some awards for them if they encourage their employee to make the AI service for their own use or for the other company, then they will get some subsidy. And for the kids, like elementary school and the higher school, then have some tech educations and some kind of hour of AI. It's from the hour of codes, similar ideas. And those mechanisms to teach our kids to use AI, and also on the other hand, the kids they can teach their grandparents to use AI. They like some kind of trick that they can get closer to each other. And also we have we call the iPass. That's a standard for industry. If the people they want to get the license or get the certifications of AI skill, then we have standard this certification for them. And also for the regulatory part, we have a AI basic act. Actually, this act we already prepared for 1 hour, 1 year. But in our legislative year, our legislator they think this AI basic act should be very good for our workers with their labor rights, for our children to prevent them from some AI disadvantage, and also to that some disabled people or some people they have no this AI skill can still survive. So our act to add in those kind of the items, and many debates and for last year, and right now this only is about to pass. Only question is who should be the responsible of this act, because in Taiwan there are two ministries should be take care of this. First one is Ministry of Digital Affairs. That's my ministry, and the other is the National Science and Technology Council. It's also very good to handle this act. So right now they are debating who should in charge of this. Once it is decided, then this act will be passed. And also there are some other regulations should be modified once this AI Act is passed. First, for the Ministry of Economic Affairs, they have to make some subsidies and incentive for their employees to make the AI services, and the government should have some subsidies for them to encourage them. And also for the data, MODA, we will pass some act to promote the provision of use of public data. It's based on our open data and the big data initiative. And also for the healthcare, for the other copyright agencies, they have to adjust their regulations to this one. And also for the enabling environment, some traffic, some other. This is a finance as supervising council. I should have some regulations for the bank to adopt this AI. And for the risk management, MODA also have to evaluate some. We have a tool that if government agency they create some AI services, then they have to pass this investigation to make sure this service will not have the bias or something. And the other for the protection of the right and the interest. And also for the risk management, we have based on the AI Basic Act, MODA will initiative AI risk classification framework. And this framework will say that every government agency, they have to make their own AI risk management guideline for the industry. For example, for health and welfare department, they have to make this guideline for the hospitals. For transport, they have to have guideline for some transportations company, and finance and the other communications. For overplaying, as Richard said, we have like 10 AI infrastructure or the constructions project. This big project is a cross-agency project, and this project is in charge by our National Development Council. So this National Development Council is focused on the industry development and economic growth. So you can see in this structure, it is a core. The core is to make the industry and make the industry development and the economic growth, and then it expand to the governance and the AI service for our citizens. And the other is a Smart Nation 2.0. This project also a cross-agency project, and this project is in charge by the National Science and Technology Council, and this council is focused on the technology development. So you can see that inside this project, the core is to develop the technologies like AI technology or the environment to create AI services, and then expand to the governance and the other parts. And these two cross-agency projects are help each other, because one is for the industry and the other one is for technologies. And they both have some focus on the services for citizens. And this is the structure steering committee that how we make sure Smart Nation 2.0 can well done. So there are many ministries take part of this. Okay, and it's just like I just said that in the future we want our AI to make a good life for our citizens and to take care of every cultures or the different kind of peoples, and also to driving our industrial upgrading. Okay, thank you for listening, and that's all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wong, for really setting us up with the foundation of understanding the government goals and planning for AI development in Taiwan now and in the years ahead. Professor, yeah, I'd like to invite you now onto the stage to talk about your current research and AI implementation challenges.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for being here today. Okay, my name is Xinzhong Liao from the National Zhengzhi University. I'm a professor in Department of the Public Administration. I'm also a research fellow at the Taiwan Digital Governance Research Center, as well as the Vice Executive Director of the Transparency Information at Taiwan chapter. Now, let me just start with a question. Can AI really make the government more open or efficient? Or could it create a new problem we didn't see? Okay, so that's why I'm here and just bring some Taiwan experience, especially comes from the research at the Taiwan Digital Governance Research Center. Okay, so we will look at how AI is used in public administration, and we will find some maybe some limitations on which area. Okay, and then this page just very briefly introduce about the research now from our research center. Actually, we have a team Now we are doing the certain things. We try to building the AI governance framework of the governments. Now that research project has already been done, and we announced that online. So, however, it's a Mandarin version, and now the GAI is really convenient, so you guys can just translate easily. And we also do another research which is related about the digital competency for the public servant. Okay. Now we are still going on two research projects. One is try to make a study on how law and regulation can adapt to AI innovation in Taiwan. And we also have another study which is just looking at how generative AI can be used in public services. And also we like to see how people trust these tools. And those two projects we will finish next year, and report be released after some. Okay. I also bring some research from myself. Okay. That will be the next year's two research project. One is AI teammate or liability. Okay, so we like to see try to compare different countries' experience to see if the AI help or hurts the governance and the corruption control among all those countries. And I'm studying another issue is AI development and correlation with the SDGs development among all the countries in the global system. And how can we just observe the AI's risks? Okay, that's from the recent study of our research center. We just make a very deeply literature review from the OECD and EU and MIT and G7 as well as the United Nations, a lot of different resources. And we just summarize the different dimensions we need to be careful, especially which is related to the risk from AI. The first will be the data governance, just like to making sure the AI system management, the data responsibility, and with the transparency, proper oversight. The second dimension will be human right protection. And the third dimension, the ethics, which is address the ethical responsibility of the AI, such as like transparency and the balance of the technology, technically with the technology with the social impact. And the fourth one, we focus on the model expandability, and just making we hope that we can just making the AI system be understandable, especially in the high risk area, so people can trust it and just regulatory can check compliance. And another dimension is the personal data. We also focus on in the lesser dimension, automatic decision making. All of those areas we summarize from the international society knowledge, and we find those areas which is the risk area for using AI. And in that study, we're doing certain things. We just collect more than 100 government AI application case from the national agencies to the local governments. Just as you can see, the user. This is the slides for just some example from the government AI use application, and we also select some application from our government service award cases. We also select some example from the Taipei city government cases. All of those cases, they use the AI in different area. And however, you can find that these applications cover many areas, include 3 areas. The first will be the execution and the intelligent recognition, like the smart patrol system, the AR Hamlet for the fighting for the firefighters and also with a licensed plate recognition. And we also have another application field which is related to regulatory analysis and supervision, such as like the AI pipe inspections and the smart firefighting systems. We also have a lot of other applications in internal management, such as like the hospital decision support system and emergency response platforms, such as like that. Okay. But however, you can see we checked all of those cases application and we try to observe their risk. So you can see the different field. If we check that, that means that application maybe with those kind of a risk in this field. Okay, so you will find it. The risk dimensions are very diverse from among all of those applications. For example, almost every case involves the issue of the data governance and privacy, and the human right preventions. Many also raise questions about the ethics and model explainability and automated decision-making set. Okay, so that will be our first step. We just try to observe those risks among all the applications. Okay. And then we try to build up a framework, governance framework. That's from our research, and we just bring out some conclusion and recommendation. This model, which we call it a PDCA cycle. The first phase will be the plan phase. Okay, so we should in the plan stage where the focus is on building the foundation. Okay, in the planning station, the goal is to set the clear principle and framework before any AI system is deployed. Okay, so which all of the principle is we bring out in the plan stage. And also next is the execution stage, which we call the do stage. Okay, include the deploy the AI governance and management mechanism into the daily operations. And we also encourage the government to apply the risk mitigation measures and ensure the transparency and also assign the responsibility of officers and promote the cooperation across agencies. Okay. The next stage will be the check stage, which is critical for the monitoring and the evaluation. Okay. And we also have the fourth stage that will be action. Let's try to update your governance framework and the risk strategy regularly and share the best practice internally to the strength of organization learning. And we also hope the government can plan a further research on the emerging issues like the public trust and digital rights and inclusion. So, and this just like a circle, it's not we do not stop on the fourth stage, then we recircle again. So that's our research recommendation. And we also find some interesting governance issues from our study. Okay. We find that among government, we have 6 different gaps. The first gap will be computational power gap. Okay, so the different government agencies probably will have a different computing resources, such as like the GPU services and the cloud services. Okay, so this will create a big gap in their ability to retrain and deploy the AI model. The second will be the data resources gap. So it's related to the amount and the quality of the data. Okay, so the third one will be the AI model gap. There are the differences in how departments use and management of AI models. Some can work with advanced model like the GPT or the Gemini, while others still struggle with the smaller models. Okay. Fourth will be the talent gap. That's will be related to our civil servants' ability can use the AI and their knowledge. And also we have a regulatory gap, and we also have the budget gap. Okay. Another issue which is related to the AI literacy, we just mentioned Mr. Wang just mentioned that we have many government staff and citizens still lack the clear understanding of AI technology. And we also have some supervisions problem, just like we just use a lot of country out service on the AI service. So how can we just make sure that the government can control all of them? And third one will be the fake AI project, and we also face some AI in the future. Probably will face some fake AI project. How can we just tell about that? And we also have a large corporations problem, because all of those big companies, they occupy the resources and the talent and the skills, technology. So how government can just make sure all of them will not to so occupy so many AI resources and just share with all of the society. And so the fifth will be the hindering innovation, because the government, they have a rule of laws system, so they cannot try to so much innovative way and to doing a lot of the things. So how can we just release a space they can do something new, but not controlled by role so much? Okay. Included the final one, we also including the AI service like to in the joint procurement contract, because in Taiwan a lot of the AI application, the government will contract with the private company. So, but so many those kind of a contract that will be sometimes there will be multiplied duplicated cases. So how can we just save our resources by this way? Okay. And we also bring out some research recommendation. The first one, we hope we needed to establish a cross-disciplinary collaboration mechanism for the AI governance. Okay, we hope in the future we can just has a model or a framework can assess the government AI application and the risks. The third one, we encourage our government can looking for the global governance framework and the Taiwan's international engaged strategy. The final one that we needed to strengthen the public trust and policy the transparency in AI in the future. Okay, so that's all my share, and thank you for your attention. Especially I have a very big jet lag with the slide code still needed. Just depends on my notes here. So sorry about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Liao, for highlighting some of these challenges in implementation that's expressed in your research. And as we go into our final presentation here, I would invite everyone in the audience to start thinking about some questions to ask the speakers. One question that I'm interested in personally, I might raise again, is kind of who are the stakeholders in the AI policy conversations in Taiwan so far? We've heard a lot about kind of government-led initiatives or research-led initiatives. Maybe I'd be interested in hearing about civil society's roles, or to Professor Liao's just recent kind of interest in future research, public trust and transparency in AI. Where do we see that happening out in the future? So without further ado, Professor Aronson, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Well, I stand before you as a non-expert on Taiwan and on Taiwan's AI program, so that's kind of embarrassing. But I do want to talk to you about where, in general, I think Taiwan's been very successful, or is going to be very successful, and that is in terms of trust. An issue where the United States has unfortunately lost its way. So sorry for my groovy PowerPoint here. So here's where I'm coming from. Governance cannot succeed without trust. And so the United States, Taiwan, and other nations must find ways to ensure that the AI that they seek to export and to nurture is built on trust. And what I want to talk with you today about why that matters. Okay, so I'm gonna get down to the nitty-gritty of this, which is what is trust? And trust is a form of social capital. It is essential to the smooth functioning of society. And it is something that you and I have in our daily lives, in our relationships with every single person or organization, right? Whether you're in the DC Roadrunners Club or you're in the Women in National Security Club at GW, you have to trust that your colleagues will work with you, will understand what you need and want, etc. There is no civilization or commerce without trust. That is something that President Trump seems to have problems understanding. Another thing that is unique in terms of trust is that AI is increasingly human-like. And so people tend to misperceive when they're interacting with an AI agent or an AI system. And we need to recognize that trust between a system and trust between human beings are something different. But again, repeat myself, people often get confused. And in fact, I was trying to explain an email that I sent my colleague Michael to my husband last night. And so I had been interacting with Claude because I asked Claude to, forgive me for using a military term or CIA term, to red team my methodology. And Claude, whatever we want to call Claude, I kept saying the bot responded or the bot said, and that is exactly what a reviewer will tell you. Don't ever do that. So what are we talking about when we talk about trust in AI? So it is human-like. So thus, you need to distrust and verify when you're interacting with a bot, because distrust is going to really affect AI adoption. And so that is why we see Taiwan doing such a good job at trying to figure out how do we build trust and mitigate risk at every level of human interaction with the system. When government uses AI to provide access to credit or other resources such as education, or when the government makes a decision or tries to predict when China is going to invade. I'm not saying China is going to invade. I'm again being facetious in the hopes of keeping your attention, but I think you get my point, right? We use AI for all sorts of governmental purposes, and in so doing, we have to build trust. So to gain trust, right, from humans, AI systems must be designed in ways that operate predictably and consistently, reflecting integrity and fairness. And these are key social values that transcend nations. And what I mean by that is that these are things that are as true in Russia as they are in China, as they are in Moldova, as they are in Taiwan, as they are in Brooklyn. Okay. So what about trustworthiness? And so trustworthiness is a cognition. You discern whether or not you can trust a system. It is your system in your head for making that decision. Now, in truth, I was shocked by the polling data that was like, I'm making this up, but let's say it said like 47% of Taiwanese said they had never interacted with an AI system. I find that unbelievable. They use Google Maps. They probably use Netflix. You get my point. We are constantly interacting with AI systems, right? You all know that. And somehow you've developed some sort of mechanism, some sort of way of understanding whether or not you should trust that system. Okay, so let's be honest. I look at spell check and I hate when it corrects my emails. I hate it. It drives me nuts because it's de-skilling me, I feel like. But I trust it, that it gets, when it makes a recommendation regarding how to spell coupon or something like that in French, it's doing it. Okay, so that can affect believability, whether or not you share the system or what you learned from Claude or any other AI chatbot, and whether you can detect mistakes. Okay. So here's the thing. All forms of governance, including the governance of AI and the governance of, and what I mean by that is how governments choose to regulate or incentivize AI systems, they're collaborative endeavors, and they have to be built on trust. Okay, so AI governance, what do I mean by that? So there's so many different types of AI systems, and for some odd reason, all of a sudden, we all are talking about generative AI systems, probably because that's the fastest growing technology that the world has ever seen. But all these systems, they do have different risks, and they have different harms. And so how you govern them, can't be one way to govern all AI systems, because the risks, again, to forgive me for being redundant, are different for each system. And because these systems are constantly evolving, they're going to change over time, and the risks are going to change over time. So you have a bunch of options if you're a policymaker, right? You can govern the technology. You can ban all forms of AI. So Australia just banned the use of social media, which, as you know, relies on AI, for people under 16. We'll see if that works. And they're going to use facial recognition to block users, as if you can tell for sure whether someone, you look at me, you're going to say she's not under 16 probably. But, they're using AI technology to try to govern it. So that's one approach. You can govern how the technology is used, right? So you're not allowed to use facial recognition to deport people, except we're doing that in the United States. Okay, you can govern business practices. So you can say, no surveillance capitalism, or you could just let it continue to spread. Okay, so the US and Taiwan have very different approaches, as we've seen. The US approach is at the state level. I'm going to get into that more specifically. And it is a tough balancing act, like all forms of governance, right? You want to encourage as much innovation as possible, because the innovation is useful to everybody. It could be horrible, but in general, you want to see a world where innovation is not suppressed. But at the same time, you want to protect people from harm, right? And that is difficult. And then, of course, you must build trust in the governance. Okay, so this is a chart of what AI governance should be. You got to govern the input into AI and the output. And so here's some ways in which you can do that. So you can govern the use of data through consent. I don't want to get into specifics of all these different issues. We can talk about it later, because my time is almost up, I think. But this gets you a sense of how you could govern models and algorithms, and then the output. Okay, yeah, but here's where the United States is at. It's happening at the state level, but it is happening. And so what do you see? I hate to say it's embarrassing to say it, but Trump listens to lots of very rich people who have lots of investments in AI developing companies. And so they're trying to usurp the state level AI administration, but people are demanding governance of AI. And what you'll see eventually, if we move away from a dysfunctional Congress, is there will be laws related to AI. I'm absolutely sure of it. I can't read the future, but I think it's happening. And why is it happening? Because AI systems are so opaque. Whatever kind of AI system, almost every computer scientist you speak to says, we really don't understand how these systems work yet. We can map the knowledge inherent in the system, how we came to the algorithm, etc., but we really don't understand. Okay. So what's happening with the US and Taiwan on AI? Not much. But the thing is, as you know, last week Trump signed the Taiwan Assurance Implementation Act. Okay, and you know, we don't need to get into this too much, but that is the guidelines on how the US government interacts with Taiwanese officials. But I want to just remind you that Mr. Trump is transactional and our government doesn't do anything unless he says yes. So China means bigger money, and China is our main competitor in terms of various forms of AI. So I think he will always put China first. But I hope that we will still see, in spite of that, more cooperation on AI. And, you know, it is in everybody's interest to have that cooperation. And you may say, why? Taiwan's it's not the largest country in the world. American business is not, desperate to be there. Well, AI is desperate to be there, right? Because of semiconductors. That's thing one. The thing two is that we must cooperate globally. And I just want to reiterate this point very strongly, which is AI is not a US product. It is not a Chinese product. It is a global product. It is built on the knowledge of our grandparents and great-grandparents and non-relatives from around the world, right? It is various forms of knowledge over time and global expertise. So it is a global product. And we're going to have to find ways to govern it internationally. And if that means just governing the risks, I think we're going to have to get there. So Taiwan is going to be a key player in that regard because it is essential to the AI supply chain. Okay, so unfortunately, this is the current attitude. You provide the chips, Taiwan, but we'll partner with you if you provide the dough. What does that mean? So I don't know how familiar you all are with what's happening at NSF, but NSF has long encouraged global scientific partnerships. That is not as true because, scientists understand that we must work globally on these issues. We need the competition, right? That's a feedback loop. It improves our science. But, Taiwan is willing to partner with the United States and provide the dough. There will be partnerships. Okay, so thank you so much for hearing me out, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you so much, Susan, for rounding out our panel discussion or our presentations, really focusing in on trust and global collaboration. Certainly a message that I need to hear more nowadays as I'm doom scrolling a lot more often. So we're going to move to our Q&A session now with all of you. Thanks so much for sticking around and hearing our presentations. So go ahead and start thinking about your questions. I'm just going to start the Q&A with a couple of questions myself here for the panel. I was doing field work in Taiwan this summer with different government agencies and civil society organizations about generally digital democracy issues, trends, and collaboration. And one topic that came up is how civil societies, particularly civic technology communities or communities of volunteers, lawyers, computer engineers, scientists that voluntarily assemble and create technology for improvement of civic life, civic tech communities, could be somewhat of a sandbox or a playground to see where citizens fit in the conversation about new government regulations or practices or socializing technologies with public administrators at the local or national level. The presentations certainly talked about how different government agencies are being involved in the AI governance framework creation in Taiwan. But I'd love to hear from the panelists in your observations of your respective fields. Does civil society play a role in AI governance and framework development, playtesting, implementation? If so, how have they worked with governments at different levels? Just open question to the panel.
Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, in Taiwan, many people, I think, they want to use their own skill to help the other people get a service. For example, in the pandemic area, actually, when we government to open the data about which pharmacy have the mask month, and which area is a very sensitive area. We open those data, and the people they can use those data very quickly to make the service for the general public. They can know instant that how many masks in the different pharmacies. That's the first one. And the other kind is that we government provide the environment like we call it joint platform, that every single person can give their idea or suggestion about the government. Not necessary to be technology, but for the other policies they suggest government can change. And if those idea or suggestion being approved by 5,000 other netizens in 3 months, then the government agents have to officially to answer to those ideas. No matter that they adopt those ideas or they reject the idea, they have to have the good reason and to public to let people know how they think and why they adopt or why they partially adopt or why they reject, to let the other people to know the government decisions. And by this environment, that people they're willing to provide their idea or to vote their efforts to that. I think that is because the people in Taiwan, they are very associated to keep their ability to help the other people. So,
I can include another interesting example because from the central government to the local government, they really like to see some idea could be the innovation. So they bring out a lot of competition. Just like, for example, we have a very big competition, which is a presidential hackathon. A lot of the group, the citizen group, they like to bring out their idea, but without data. But the government has a bunch of untreated data. They can just use the competition and cooperate with the government and try to fulfill their idea, their innovative idea by this kind of cooperation competition. So you will find some case I bring out on my PowerPoint. Actually, this year, our research team observed more than 100 cases. A lot of the case from that kind of a hackathon's idea to be the best one. So this is a very interesting case. It's a kind of forced team cooperation between the governments, academia, and the industry. So that those kind of hackathons serve like a platform for advancing the civic technology and strengthening the democratic participation in our society.
The only thing I will say is that Michael and I have done several studies of comparative political participation, and there's lots of individuals involved. We've done Colombia, Australia, so we haven't done Taiwan, although we have done some significant research on what we can learn from Taiwan's approach to involving its citizens. But what we find is civil society is very uninvolved. Canada, the EU, the OECD, and in general, governments don't listen to their citizens, nor does civil society really represent the citizenship. Unfortunately, citizens in general don't comment on public policy. And so what is the problem here that we're trying to address? Do we want to have broad representation, or do we want people in the know to comment? That's always been very unclear to me.
And just one note as well about hackathons. These hackathons are events where these volunteers can come together and just start working on projects that they find there's a need in their communities, or using geospatial information to do some kind of project. Or here in DC, there's a community called Civic Tech DC that hosts projects on a very frequent basis. And Congress also hosts a hackathon. This year was the U.S. Congress's 7th annual congressional hackathon, which I attended, and there was a working group specifically on AI. Actually, two or three working groups on different topics in AI. So hackathons is another means or venue in the U.S., but also in Taiwan as well, where citizens and public administrators can interact and work together. So now I'd like to invite our audience to ask some questions for our speakers. One tradition we have at the Seeger Center is to offer up the first question to a current student. Do we have any students in the audience who'd like to ask a question first? Please go ahead. And if you wouldn't mind just stating your name and affiliation and then your question.
Okay. Hi, I'm John. I'm a student here at the LA School. I'm a Master's Studies candidate. Thank you all for your presentation. Very informative. Love listening to it. My question concerns, I guess, the resilience of Taiwan's AI industry. So there are a lot of worries in the US about the AI industry being a bubble. So if AI demand from the United States fluctuated for like semiconductors, for the supplies that are driving our own AI growth, that fluctuated. I guess what is Taiwan doing to maybe like diversify its digital economy? So if the US industry demands was less stable, would it be able to weather that? Like, are we investing in, or is Taiwan investing in other technologies, its own AI potential? So, yeah.
Okay, sorry, my translator cannot catch question. But I think you are mentioning about Taiwan, how to make sure that the technology can be affordable or to make our AI better.
Right, so kind of like separate of the United States. So if the AI sector in the United States became less stable because of whatever economic factors we're going through, does Taiwan developing like its own? You were mentioning how like Gemini and ChatGPT are like the main systems still. So what is Taiwan? Are they developing their own AI systems that maybe will equal those? Something like that. Like that's
okay. There are many perspectives. First, in Taiwan, we have developed our LLM. We call the Taiwan AI LLM. That's That's like a sovereignty AI. That's the first one. And the other is that actually we have a computing power, so it's no problem to run the LLM, right? And to get service. However, between service and LLM computing power, they still have a middle where they should be provided by maybe like Google, like Amazon, like the other cloud services provider to combine with the AI, like the OpenAI or the other company. And this part in Taiwan, we are very it's a very sensitive issue about it, because in Taiwan, people want to get the better services of AI services, but they also very concerned about if the data being get by those big company or like OpenAI, maybe the privacy will be an issue for that. So it's like a conflict. We want the better, but we are afraid that our privacy being compromised. So right now, our approach is we have three kinds of mechanisms. First, if this is not sensitive issue or not sensitive data, then we encourage the people or the government or the private sector to use the commercial services like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like the other AI APIs. And if there's a little bit sensitive, then we encourage big company like Google, like Amazon, like Microsoft. They have their data center in Taiwan, and they have the community center in Taiwan. And this year already, Microsoft and Google already have the data center in Taiwan, and Amazon also have 3 data center area Taiwan in this June. I think we solve this problem because we can make sure, let me make sure that the data will not be transmitted to the other country without our permission. Okay, we can help you make sure. And if there's a very, very sensitive data, then we have our own computing power center. We call it National High-Speed Network Center. And this also, we have a computing power there. The very sensitive data, then we will use the LLM there and to run the AI model there. So there's 3 kinds of mechanisms for different sensitive scenario. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to? Great. Let's take some more. This gentleman in the back, thanks for your patience. State your name and question, please.
Yeah, I'm Craig Foundation. Yeah, I'm a bit confused. I'm wondering if there's some terminology going on here. When, for example, your first slide, there's only 1.5% of Taiwanese use AI. I mean, we're all using Taiwanese AI technology, and maybe you've almost seen government, maybe you've almost game technology. Up to about 6 years ago, NVIDIA itself, main clients, staff and everything was Taiwan. So can we clarify a little bit? Is it that maybe that AI doesn't translate in the survey that was done, which shows that only 1.5% of people in Taiwan do AI? And one last thing, I mean, obviously, Audrey Tang and others developed what was the greatest civil society algorithm of all time, which more or less prevented COVID from having any impact in Taiwan.
So, well, the first question, I was very interested in what was in some of the presentations that I'm thinking of it as perceptions of AI usage. What is AI? To Susan's earlier point as well in her presentation,
it was quite interesting to see the percentage figures of those citizens writ large in Taiwan, as well as administrators who have had experience in AI or to say that they've used it or know what it is. So maybe we can, I'd love to hear the panel's comments on perceptions of AI usages and perceptions of understanding of AI. Do you see that that is a significant gap between how pervasive AI actually is versus how are maybe public administrators using AI or the public at large?
Okay, you see that talking about page 4 of my presentation, this talking about the general public use AI or general public heard about the never use of AI. Actually, this survey is conducted by Moda, and we call up and call out or use the internet mechanism to previous one. Yeah, this one. I think this one. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the 1.5% was on the wrong, but maybe I misunderstood.
And that looks like specifically for public servants as well.
Okay, this is a civil servants use rate. 1.5 means only 1.5 of the civil servant they use AI every day. Yeah. Use AI because our question is that we define the AI using AI is to use ChatGPT, use Gemini, use Cloud, and all you use the AI API to create services. This kind of the domain we call it use AI. But if you use only use the Google, it's embedded AI inside, then we don't think this in the domain of using AI. Did they answer your question? Okay, great.
I can just add more related to another number here. That will be 57.2% civil servant. They just heard about the AI and never use it. There could be several reasons. The first reasons that will be if we like to train the AI, we need to use the data. However, the administrative data is not that perfect to train. So most of the time, it's not that perfect to train the perfect model. For example, let me just give you guys an example in Taiwan. We have Iceland, which is Tonghu, just take a part of Taiwan. Yeah. That county has a very interesting policy, which is that policy can allow the citizen there can transfer their purpose of the land utilization from the agriculture to business. No, without any permission, yeah, or without any pre-requirement. So that means you can easily to transfer your purpose of the land utilization in that country. However, they have a pre-requirement on that. Your scope cannot has already get a land for the business utilization. If your scope has that kind of situation, you cannot use this law. So that's make a lot of a couple just divorce. So then if you use this data and try to train a model and to predict the family stable or something, that will be a little bit tricky on that. So that's why we cannot train a lot of AI model immediately and apply that all of them in the public service. That's the first reason. And the second reason will be the rule of law. Because all of the agencies, even they like to apply the AI in their service, they should be follow the rule of law. So that will be make they then so conservative on that. That's why the Mr. Roundtable mentioned a lot. We give the sandbox mechanism on that, try to figure out the work. So that's why because the government, the agency cannot apply the AI service so much and so immediately. So that's why they heard about it so much, but they cannot apply it immediately. So that's why that number is so big. But I believe in the future, because we will have more, maybe this year or after this year.
Maybe in a few weeks.
In a few weeks, we will have the law, the AI law about that. Probably will be increase out the expand the nation of the AI application among in our public sector.
The draft AI law is going to become law. Yeah, and shortly.
Yeah, because all items have been passed. The only question is that who should in charge of this act? Should be in MODA or should be the science, National Science and Technology Council? Who should in charge of them? If they once the legislator design this issue, then the law will pass. Right now, in our legislator, there are two group of the legislators. One group think should be in charge by MODA, and the other group think is to be in charge by the council. It is only question. This question, they as to MODA or to the Science and Technology Council, we don't care because actually we co-work together to improve to promote this law. So either they in charge or our in charge, our job is still the same, because right now we know what our part to promote this AI services. So it should be passed very soon.
And just one more note as well about these figures of the percentage of public servants who maybe heard of it but have never used it. And it seems like it's from last year, and I imagine that number is going to continue to decrease rapidly, partly because civil society is also engaged in government on this front. This year, I learned about the Digital Democracy Small Working Group in Taiwan, which is a grouping of civic tech volunteers who work at attend hackathons or organize hackathons affiliated with G0V, which is the largest civic tech community in Taiwan, as well as former administrators, former public servants that have teamed up to socialize and enhance AI literacy, digital literacy, and problem solution linkage frameworks within public administration. So just this year, I attended a few of these trainings, workshops where civil administrators who have experience using AI tools brief other administrators about the tools that they use, how they find them useful, how can tools be developed at the local level that are appropriate for your office's mission. Like the Tainan city government, for example, has a chatbot that's using Line, which is the most widely used and downloaded messaging app in Taiwan. So the Taiwan city government uses a Line bot to help citizens find recordings of city council meetings so that they can see what was discussed in these public forums if they couldn't attend in person. So I imagine that these numbers, the distribution will be changing quite drastically even as of next year. Do we have other questions? I see in front here. Yes.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm your daily news. We're based in Taiwan. So I'm glad Susan mentions the word trust. I'm just wondering, with the current administration's unpredictability and its America First agenda, is there trust right now between Taiwan and US? And how can trust be built when this administration obviously, at least to me, prioritize its relationship with China more than with its allies. And also, there maybe Mr. Lau and Mr. Wang can answer my next question is that I think one of the bigger challenge on the AI industry is on the energy. And obviously we don't now have sufficient energy to support our semiconductor industry, but that's from what I understand, it's also at its limit. So how can we supply both fronts of our how can our power supply support both fronts? Thank you.
Well, I mean, that's not a problem unique to Taiwan, right? Unfortunately, the Trump administration, and to some extent, the Biden administration before them, undermined the world trading system and not just the WTO, but also the whole notion of the rule of law in trade. And that's, to me, that is what is most threatening, right? The reason we have trade agreements is that they're commitment devices, and so they build trust, right? And so we've had a system that worked, 74% of the time, right? A really high percentage of the time. But there were real problems, and China did not adhere to its commitments completely. So you started to see other hegemons, and by the way, India makes China look like an amateur in terms of not adhering to its commitment. So when you have such large trading nations undermining the rule of law, so in comes Trump, and he just seems to totally misunderstand how trade agreements work, what they do, the role of tariffs, etc. And what I worry about is that the US system is junky, and we've now become a little bit addicted to tariffs as a form of revenue. And so what do you do about that? Now, I do think the Supreme Court might soon get us out of this, but the cost is going, be astronomical. But the FT today has a discussion of this in the column, but it's related to the EU. And I do think it is very temporary. I think most people understand the importance of alliances, that in the world you have to have friends. You can't bully your way around, no matter how much your power is. And moreover, the United States has done a lot of things in the last 10 months that really undermine its competitiveness. So I do think there will be a reckoning. And, there was a similar phenomenon when Joe Biden came in. He had to really work hard to convince American allies, including Taiwan, including the EU, including Canada. I'm hopeful. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to really understand where to go. And I know I sound, like Pollyanna, so forgive me. You know what Pollyanna is. I'm sorry, showing my age. Pollyanna was a story about a little girl in the 1920s, and she gets adopted, basically. It was a movie. But it was anyway, to sound like Pollyanna means you're always upbeat and you're just, and that tends to be me. Really naive and stupid. But I have to take that perspective, because I really want the United States to be a force for good in the world. So forget about that too, but that's me. You guys want to talk?
Okay. Thank you for the question. About the energy scarcity, energy discipline. Actually, it should be a problem in the future. But we have right now we have two kind of the solutions. So we want to try. The first one is that we enhance our green power. First one, and the other one is that we try to make right now all the AI service they are using the project base. So every single agency they want to make a AI service, they have to outsource a project and to to make services to use the computing power. Right now, we want to make a product base. So not if every agency they want to make like a consumer chatbot, then not necessarily that every agency have to build computing environment or to consume the power. If the product can be provided by a company, then every agency they just use a rack and to connect to its computing power. So they don't need to build every computing power by themselves. One computing power and every agency they break. So the energy consuming will be decreased. Yes, that's how we try to do it. Not only for the AI, actually for the other government service, we also want it not every service the project based, but product based, and the basically should be the cloud product based. I'm not sure that answer your question, but it's our solution we want to use. And the other way is that as we know right now, more and more model they start to develop the model with less and less energy consuming. Yeah, the technology is from this trend. But I think maybe if this trend continue, then maybe the energy consuming will be increasing.
I can just add more about it. Just try to get enough green power. We just try different channel, such as like we build up a lot of the solar panel on all the buildings. But however, now we just build up all of them on the ground, such as like the farm, as well as the fish pond. So you will find another interesting news being released out now in Taiwan. We have some corruption situation on that. So that's why this year I just finished another transparent study on this kind of a case. There's a green power on especially the ground type grounded green powers corruption issue. I just finished that stuff and how try to build up the transparent system of that.
Great. Well, we're just about out of time. So I apologize if we couldn't get to all questions, but I do invite the audience to come and interact with us afterwards. If you have some follow-up questions or want to exchange cards, please do so. But today I think we've learned, I certainly have learned a lot more about Taiwan's approach to AI governance, to how different stakeholders are involved in AI governance framing, as well as interaction or learning and developing AI literacy. And there's a lot more to learn and to discuss. So thank you all for joining us today. Please join me in thanking our speakers for their presentations. And please stay tuned for our programming that'll start back up again in January for all our Taiwan related events. Please follow us on all the socials and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.